what are your current musical focuses? What are you?
Got the Guillotines going still. Guillotines progressed out of what I had when I moved to Texas. I started a project called Chelsea Hotel, just good old punk rock, and it evolved into new members a few times, and then one day I decided we needed a name change, so we switched to Guillotines. That's like 15 years ago. And same kind of music, 70s New York, Cleveland punk rock stuff. And but a lot of members. I've had some great members. In fact, the latest CD is this one. Whoa, where's our tapes? This one's our latest one. And that came out during COVID. We recorded this at Joe Queer's house in Atlanta. And the back cover, that's Lisa Fur, played bass from LA. Lisa Fur was in DI, Snapper, 45 Grave, everybody. Lisa's been with everybody. She moved to Houston. We ran into each other, and I said, hey, man, my wife passed, and my wife said, Lisa can play bass for you, man. And so
That's
Lisa
wonderful.
stepped right up. It was great. We were sitting around one night, and Andy and I, the drummer, and we said, hey, man, we need to keep playing. We need to go. So we called Lisa, and she was there in 20 minutes. She was at the house. She goes, I've been waiting for that phone call. And we were out the whole COVID time, me and her and Andy, all over the country playing wherever we could play, empty freeways, and it was a wild time. That whole record, this whole CD rather, is based on angry. If you look at the titles, it's all angry COVID songs. Real punk rock.
There you go. Hey,
Yeah.
if music has a passion.
Yeah, but you see all this Guillotine stuff, it's just the evolution of the band. It just, here's another lineup of it with Glenn Gilbert, Gigi. He played with Prophets of Addiction, and Richie Ramone band. And Andy, my current drummer, also played with Richie Ramone for a while. Richie took my band. Then 3 years ago, he took the Guillotines out with him for, I think we did a 12 gig run all across the South. We met up in Atlanta and headed west. That was all cool. I'm really bad at this stuff. But yeah, it's been a great ride. But we got a Guillotine show coming February 21st at the Beachland. The boys are coming up from Texas. And we got the Strains from Detroit playing, which is Paul Smith of Dumbbell, and a bunch of great Detroit musicians. Jamie Holiday from Dayton's going to be playing. And then Lords of the Highway Open.
Is that in the tavern?
Beachland Tavern. Yeah, it's going to be great, man.
Cool.
Excited to have my boys come back and play. We haven't played together since I moved back to Ohio.
Oh,
So yeah, we're pumped.
so you're going to rehearse, right?
They're rehearsing now, and I'm rehearsing, and then we're going to have one good practice in Menor the night before the gig. We'll do Friday night at the Beachland, and then Saturday in Detroit at Smalls.
Menor doesn't get its props. When you think of all the great musicians in the Cleveland punk, post-punk, scene,
man.
what you're talking about, Chris King from Wild Giraffes.
They were there in the beginning when Pagans started. Those guys were great support, man. Alan
McGinty, yeah.
And Edgar, God bless. And, man, those were great guys.
What bands were you going and seeing and hanging with? What was your sweet spot here?
Oh, it was just go to the clubs, It wasn't so much what band, just hanging out, You went to the Pirates Cove, you went to Hennessey's, remember Governor's Chateau. There have been some great places.
I've seen a few ads, a couple for Governor's Chateau.
Yeah, that was a little place.
Nothing's rung out of
yeah, it didn't last long. It was.
Yeah.
I think that the end of that place was punk rock. They did some punk rock bookings, and it was over. But then the Lakewood thing started. But it was always cool to hang out. At one time, Looking Glass in Euclid was the place to go. Nerves played there.
Yeah.
Pere Ubu, Pagans, Dead Boys.
I've heard quite the story about Chris.
The Pere Ubu night.
Yeah. Let's hear it. Tell me your version. This will be the third one.
I'm just
I've
kind of
recorded.
really blank on it. I just remember the night was wild. It was just a wild night. And I remember Crocus with that anvil and that banging on that metal, and I was pretty wasted.
Do you remember when Chris imitated him and pissed him off?
Oh yes, I do remember. I thought Brian had pissed him off, Hudson, because Brian had said something to him.
That place was full of provocateurs that night, wasn't it?
And they were for some reason that stuff went on with Dave. It was the days, I guess. I love Dave Thomas. That guy did so much for bringing Cleveland on the spotlight, man. Pere Ubu, absolutely. Dude, that dub housing and modern dance still in my rotation forever. Those are just remarkable records.
And again, probably our most significant musical export out of this town, and you don't hear much love in Cleveland except for the same people that cared about it then.
Right. Yeah, it's not like Devo where the whole world loves Devo.
Yeah, I mean they never had like the hit single, the hit video.
Right.
It doesn't mean they didn't make incredibly great and influential music.
He just kept on whatever he did his thing. That's what I like about Pere Ubu. It's its own thing.
Yeah.
You never know what the next record's bringing. It's amazing. Very cool. Yeah, Mike worked at the Journal newspaper back in that days. That was pretty wild. He was a sports editor at one time.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Mike, he would get free tickets to all the Indians games because he was a sports editor, but he wouldn't go to them all. So there was always tickets for him at the Journal entry where the press guys would come in. So Brian, his brother Brian Hudson, and I, we would go down there on weeknight after weeknight and get the tickets and go see games all the time. It's funny. They asked Mike one time to go out and cover the opening of fishing season. So he got Tim Alley posing with a fishing pole at Euclid Creek. And he's acting like he's fishing. And the caption of the photo in the paper said, Hugh Marvey Trendy angling for the elusive rainbow trout in Euclid Creek. And people started writing into the paper going, you can't fish in Euclid Creek. There's nothing in Euclid. And that's kind of stuff. That was Mike Hudson, it never stopped, man. Mike was brilliant. He was so funny.
Provocateur is a good word for him.
Yeah. Good days, man. It was so fun to grow up through all that. None of us realized what a mark it would all leave,